Hi, I'm Connie Romanek, speech language pathologist at Communicate, and I'm going to tell you all about the extension resources you can get for our Touch and Talk language learning kit. There are so many great extension resources here to really help you build on this kit and what it's all about. So let's dive in because there's quite a few of them. Starting off with our checklist, like all of our kits come with a checklist so you know what items to add for each level. And it's also a great way to probe if the children actually understand the main noun vocabulary. So before you get going, you can throw it on a clipboard. That's what I often do. And then I'll say, hey, do we have everything we need? Do we have the beautiful butterfly? So I'm going to see. Now I'm going to see, do they know butterfly? But I'm also going to be introducing and modeling the use of descriptive vocabulary. So an adjective plus a noun. It's great grammar. Do we have a squishy frog? Do we have a red Canadian maple leaf? Do we have the long caterpillar? And so on and so forth. So that's fantastic. Going to see what they know. I'm going to see how they pay attention. I'm going to watch how they shift their attention to find something, tell me they got it, then back to me. I'm going to see if they can inhibit themselves from grabbing everything and just initiate the task when in the right time. And best thing of all is when you're cleaning up, I give it to them with a dry erase marker and I tell them to tell me what to put back in the box. So they think I'm doing all the work, but actually they're doing the work of expressive language. Can they find the names of everything? Will they use some descriptive vocabulary? How will they use a sentence or an instruction to tell me to put it back in the box? That is all great information for me. And of course, everything will get back in the box if you use this checklist, and that is very important as well. We have a data sheet, so you can do an initial probe where the child is at with all of these sentences, receptively and expressively. There is a notification when the grammar or the syntax of the sentence changes. So it will tell you at the top, and then every time it changes, it will be in a colored row, and so you'll know exactly the grammar you're working on. It has a list of the basic concept vocabulary that you can teach with the items in the kit. Now I've listed 90 and I know there's more. In fact, I should just get to it and make 100 so that I can say 100. But it's really just to get you going, and there are so many words that you can teach and model descriptive words, basic concept vocabulary, while they are experiencing the sensation of that basic concept word. That is absolutely critical to early language learners. So that will give you an idea of the words you can work on. And then here is some developmental information on expressive vocabulary, because Touch and Talk is focused on teaching sentence comprehension and construction, but it's also focused on teaching vocabulary, because vocabulary is the #1 predictor of academic success. It's so important we teach them to be good word learners. We're going to teach specific words like the prepositions and the basic concepts, no doubt about it. But we're also going to teach them how to become good word learners on their own. So that's why I put this infographic here, is to let you know how important it is, what's expected at various ages, and it's a lot. So we really got to get going on that vocabulary building. And one way to do it is to start sorting by basic concepts presented in opposite pairs. So we have various sorting worksheets. I just put them on the table. I've got the items around and I'll say, okay, we're going to put all the soft things here and the hard things here. Oh, this pom-pom is soft. Your turn. And then maybe they'll say, oh, the square is hard. So they've used a beautiful phrase. The square is hard. They've used the basic concept word. Maybe they'll do, maybe we can build a sentence with a conjunction in it, so a compound sentence, and we might say the pom-pom is soft and the caterpillar is soft too, or the pom-pom is soft but the square is hard. So there's so much growth. It looks simple but is so powerful. So we can sort by soft and hard, bumpy, smooth, long and short, light and heavy, shiny and dull. And I should mention that this blue band in the middle is meant to put things here if they don't really line up in either category. So blue is the new gray, and this is a great opportunity to have some discussion, that social communication. Well, I'm not sure. I think this bell is shiny. Would you say it's shiny? Oh, good, it's shiny. Or I don't know, the basket, it's not really shiny or dull. Should we just put it in the middle? It's kind of a little bit of both, or whatever the situation is. So you're going back and forth in that conversation. You're taking turns. You're on the same topic. You're taking each other's perspective, and you're coming up with a shared agreement. I mean, it's just incredibly valuable when it comes to social communication. You can sort by size. You can sort by quantity. Believe me, children have a lot of trouble with these quantity concept words. Couple, few, and many. I mean, we use couple all the time, yet there are many children who don't know it means two. So it's a high frequency word that has a clear meaning. Children are missing it, so they're missing out on some information in a sentence or an instruction, so we can do that. We also have these word association sheets, and this is a way to build those vocabulary networks so they become good word learners on their own. So what I do is I lay it out on the table and I quickly have the child name everything. I want to see, can they pull out these names super fast? And if they can, I just tell them what it is. If they don't know this is a circle, they'll say hands, plane, and then they might pause. Maybe I'll give them some time to try to find it, or maybe I'll just tell them so they can say it and move on. I want this to be a very fast word recall activity. I want them to know what everything is. And then of course, they're going to be connecting the things that go together. And I really want this phrase to come out of them. Hands and feet go together because they are both body parts. So most of these associations, you can say that you can describe or state why they go together using a category label. And that is really important. Like circle and square go together because they're both shapes. So that is your ideal ultimate goal you want to get to. So we've got 5 of these word association pages, so you can get a lot of work done that way. And then maybe you're ready for the compare and contrast sheet. Another beauty, just love this. What you do is you take any 2 items from our Touch and Talk kit and put them in the circle and say what's the same about them. Like the spider and the butterfly are both insects, but the butterfly flies or can fly and the spider cannot, or it flies and it crawls. So you state 1, 2, maybe 3 similarities, and then state 1, 2, maybe 3 differences. This is the ultimate place you want to get to when children are leaving kindergarten. The ability to verbally compare and contrast cannot be overstated in its importance in academic growth and vocabulary learning, and it's the basis for all subject matter going forward. The other thing here is a clue game. So a clue game is a chance for children to really work on processing information, learning how to listen to an object that's described and identified, and then describing the object themselves. That can also be called word definition. So you can take any item from the Touch and Talk kit, and of course any item from the environment, in general, and follow this activity. You might take something from the Touch and Talk kit, put it in the box, that's fun, or in the cotton bag, that's fun. And then, or if it's too big, hide it in your hands or under the table, something like that, and start giving them clues. Talk about what group it belongs to, what you do with it or what it does. Where it's found, the location, what parts it has, what it goes together with. So that's that word association. So that's fantastic that we already practiced it. what it looks like what color, size, or shape, what it sounds like. I mean, does it make a sound like a tiger roars or a bell rings or a horn honks, for example? What it feels like, so like its texture, its weight, maybe what it's made of. Now, I want to say that category, function, and location are often the three most important things you can use to describe a word. And you want to give the children 3 clues because you want them to see how you can talk about an item. This is the item's name. That's the starting point. It's a spider. But then we learn more about a spider. It's an insect. It spins a web. It eats flies. It crawls. It has 8 legs. All those things build up knowledge so that when we see it's an insect, that's the group it belongs to, and a butterfly is an insect too, they intersect and they make a link between words. And that, again, is how kids become good word learners. So the clue game is super fun. And then so once you've modeled for the child how to give clues to guess the mystery object, then have them pick an item, put it in the box or the sack or their hands, and start giving you clues. And encourage them to give 3 clues, and you want them to be effective at it. So you want to support them to give the best clues possible. And then we've got this little maze here. So you take the bee, you run them through to get to the hive. So there's some visual perceptual and visual motor planning there. And then this little spider web activity where all you really need to do is place a single spider in every web. So single and every, I mean, those are quantity concept words. Not every child's gonna know. And maybe you're working with a child who's just developing a pincer and placement, or maybe you give them tongs to make it a little more difficult, or maybe you hide the spiders in rice or flubber or something else and they gotta find them and put them in their web. So there's a lot of fun things you can do with that. So that is all we have for now for Touch and Talk. I'm always developing more activities. I've got a million ideas. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy those and get the most out of them. Take care.